Namaskar. Welcome to LOKAYAN IAS Academy's YouTube channel. So in this fourth lecture of our essay essential series, we are going to discuss about the body of an essay. Okay, the body is one of the most important part, and it is something that will fetch you the maximum marks because you're going to dedicate almost 900 to 1000 words of your essay for this particular aspect. But while writing the essay, there are four very common problems that are faced by almost all the aspirants. So in this particular lecture, we'll take a look at what exactly are these four problems and what exactly can be done for solving those problems. In this particular lecture, we are going to discuss about a few new concepts, which is obviously going to take a lot more time and a separate video to explain. So this is just an information. If you are facing any one of these problems, you should continue watching the next video, which is in line. Okay, so having said that, let us see what exactly are these four most common problems that are faced by all the aspirants while writing an essay. Okay, so let's get started. First and foremost is that feeling that you do not have enough data, you do not have enough factual knowledge, you do not have a compilation of quotes, or you have not read enough reports. That feeling of not knowing. So here it is very important to understand that there's a lot that we don't know. We as a human species have not been evolved to a level where we know everything. We as aspirants are even smaller section, and we are obviously not going to know a lot of the things, and it is bound to happen. You will never be in a position where you will be very comfortable, or you will feel like you know everything about a topic, because that's almost impossible. Other than that, the factual data and surveys. So the factual data and surveys. So don't get too bothered about these two parameters. Factual data is something that we have often emphasized, maybe in a survey or a headline approach. It is a great tool to have in your arsenal for what you can say introduction part. But it is not necessary. Your entire essay is not going to be bounded by these factual data or survey. If some of you have tried to write an an essay by collecting the factual data, so this has happened to me personally, and I bet it has happened to some of you at least, where you Google, let's say, a certain issue, maybe poverty or so. You will do that. You will maybe watch a few TED talks. You will read a few things about poverty. What are the causes? What are the impacts? What can be the solutions? And then you start to write an essay on poverty. यहाँ पे we fall into one of the biggest trap, is that our entire essay we will force our entire essay to mend on the basis of the facts that we already know. This is bound to happen. Okay, so understand this, to write a good essay, you do not need a lot of factual knowledge, a lot of information about reports. Obviously, some information is necessary. Okay, the second most common misperception is that feeling short of content. Not knowing is part. Not knowing is part of your preparation for UPSC. There are going to be a lot of things that you won't be knowing. So it is very obvious that you will start to feel that you are short of content. Maybe let's say globalization, you're writing an essay, environment, you're writing an essay. There are a lot of things that you have in your mind, let's say, while writing an essay. Now, even if you close your eyes, pause the video, think about it for 2 minutes, you have to write an essay on globalization. Now, as soon as you do this exercise, there will be a million things that will pop up in your head. You'll be like, this topic is very easy, I can write it comfortably. But when you actually start to write it, let's say after 2 pages or 3 pages, you will be short of content. There won't be enough to write. You won't have enough things to write entire 1200 words. Okay, so this is also a very common problem. So there's a solution to this problem that we'll come back to later. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is you're not exactly short of content. You do not have a standard framework in which you can put the content. That is the problem. Okay. So this is particularly true. The second problem is particularly true for students who are in the early stages of their preparation and all those students who have just finished their GS preparation. Once you are sort of 1 year into your preparation and you have already finished, let's say, your optional in GS as well. So by that time you have sufficient knowledge to write entire 1200 words of essay. But this problem is particularly faced by the new aspirants, the new students who start preparing. Okay. The third problem is arranging the ideas in orderly fashion. Now this I can for a fact state that this problem will be faced by anyone and everyone who have not practiced writing an essay. Okay. So arranging an idea or arranging your ideas in orderly fashion is bound to create a lot of jumbling, because in our minds, in our heads, we can process a million things simultaneously. Our brains are very powerful tools. But when you start to write on paper, you have to write it in a very linear fashion, very straightforward manner. Okay, everything has to come one after the other. Everything cannot come at once. So that is where the problem lies. Okay, let's say you start writing about one point, all of a sudden you realize that there is one more very important point to be made. Then you will jump on that point, jump on the second point. Okay, so this is how the orderly nature in which your idea should be presented, it goes away, because point 1 and point 2 is basically a jump. Okay, there is no logical continuation between the 2 points. Okay. So one is orderly fashion and the second one is flow. Let's say even if you make a sort of arrangement where you can arrange your ideas in a fairly orderly fashion, but still let's say one paragraph feels disjointed from the second paragraph. Once you reach, let's say, page 2 or something, uske baad the entire whatever you are writing feels disjointed from the subject or disjointed from whatever you are trying to say. Okay. So these two problems can be solved by using some techniques. Okay. So these techniques are discussed on the next slide. Okay. So क्या लेना कसं होते बंद डायरेक्ट बंदच झालं का ते. So these are some of the most common problems faced by aspirants while writing an essay. Okay. So there are solutions to each of these problems. We'll go through all of those solutions one by one. Okay. So one of the one important tool which I cannot emphasize enough is using a knowledge matrix. Okay, knowledge matrix is a very powerful tool that will ensure that you are never short of content once you learn how to use this tool properly. Okay. At the same time, there is a sectoral approach in which you can arrange your ideas. So basically, this is all of these points are basically just to arrange your ideas in an orderly fashion. Okay, so that you're not short of content, you don't feel short of content. Okay. And your essay is also something that covers wide areas, wide spectrum of what you can say topics. Okay, it is not limited to very narrow, very limited in time and space basically. Okay, so that is how in the coming lectures we'll learn more about it. Okay, what exactly is knowledge matrix? How do we use it? Okay, the second powerful tool that we have is there are a few interesting ways in which you can use the knowledge matrix. So sectoral approach is one. So timeline approach that I have discussed forward also has its own facets, but other than this there are a lot of different frameworks in which you can put knowledge matrix, so that there's, what you can say, you can express your opinions in a more effective way. Okay, so timeline approach, I'll give you a brief about it. Timeline approach is basically any problem that is persisted over time. I hope it's clear. Okay, timeline approach. So any problem that is persisted over time, will try and show how the problem changed, how a problem evolved over a period of time. Okay, so we'll take an example and discuss timeline approach in our next video. The other two tools are called as callback and reinforcement of the topic. Again, very easy yet very powerful techniques. Okay, so callback and reinforcement of a topic will ensure that there's a sort of organizational sense in whatever we are writing. So in order to maintain the flow, in order to arrange our ideas in an orderly fashion, we'll use both of these techniques. Okay, so that is it. So if a lot of you or any of you faced any of these problems, do let us know in the comment section. And that is it for the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you have any doubts, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to LOKAYAN IAS Academy's YouTube channel. We will continue with our lecture series in the next lecture, where we will be discussing knowledge matrix and sectoral approach. Thank you.